It's something that we're gonna have to learn from. The indecisiveness today for us really bit us in the ass.
Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview, this time covering VCT Americas 2025 Stage 1 for Week 3. My guest at this time is Potter, the head coach of Evil Geniuses, coming off of their match against Sentinels, where they came out on the losing end in said competition. So, Potter, thank you so much for the opportunity for this interview. I do understand it's pretty disappointing to do this coming off of a loss, but nevertheless, I got to give you the obvious opener. How are you feeling?
Um, I'm feeling disappointed, all the emotions right now for sure. Um, we definitely got bullied on the stage up there. But it was necessary and it's needed for all teams. So, it's something that we're gonna have to learn from. The indecisiveness today for us really bit us in the ass.
No, no, for sure. I mean, it was a performance that was way below the standards of what I and practically everybody else kind of expects from Evil Geniuses. But yeah, I want to dive into the series with that in mind. You know, obviously going into this, uh, going for the Haven and then having to, face off against a different composition that Sentinels showed in relation to this year, a much more default kind of comp from like 2024 and sometime before that. And yeah, like how was that difficulty? How'd you kind of view the difficulty for your team from the outset in Haven? What do you think just kind of not went right for your team specifically?
I definitely wouldn't blame the comp because, like you said, it was just a cookie cutter Haven comp, something that we're definitely used to. We for sure game planned for the ISO and Jet coming out, but it didn't really matter. I think Sentinels played a very clean standard Haven game, and we failed to um, react to the information we had. I think for us, when we go back, what I was telling the guys was that when we go back and rewatch this, we're going to see that we had all the information we need to be able to make the moves that we wanted and to play how we do in scrims. But we fell short on taking that initiative, and so it's something we're going to have to talk about together as a team. But when you watch this match, and I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch to know the exact specifics, but if I rethink back, so many of the swing rounds, the important swing rounds that we woulda, coulda, shoulda won, a 2v1 on pistol, the first gun round. If we lose those swing rounds, the rounds that you're supposed to win, you're gonna look like you're getting destroyed, and you're gonna feel like you're getting bullied. And for us as a team, we felt that, and we felt it slipping out of our hands across both maps. So it was definitely an extremely good learning experience for us as a team, and we have to take it as that. If we don't learn from this, then yeah, we're just gonna be losers.
Yeah, a little side topic that I want to ask you regarding that map in Haven. We've mostly been seeing this team use the Waylay, and it's a map in which it's mostly like ISO Yoru heavy kind of compositions.
Mm.
Why is that? Why do you feel there's much greater effect from going that route compared to what everybody else is doing?
Yeah, the neon and the Yoru with the speed of both, and how fast you can misdirect and self fakes, it's really fun, and it's really awesome to play with. But for us, starting off from the beginning of the year, it was all about just making sure that each player is comfortable, so that we can really peak and get better as a team by the end of the year, by stage 2 and by champions. And so, yeah, for sure, Yoru and Neon, ISO, all of these agents looked really good on Haven. But for us, our priority was to gel and get synergy and get the macro down on that map. Our retakes have been a work in progress, and just the defense side in general on that map has been a work in progress. So for me, I felt that having just the cookie cutter comp would be best. And then Waylay came out. We were running the
Mm-hmm.
jet on it, getting Icy really comfortable on those op lines. So Waylay came out, and Icy loves Waylay, and he looks really good on Waylay. And the kinds of fights that you can find with Waylay. It's just very different. It's we call her Tracer on our team, and there's just there's a lot of fun, quirky, creative things that we can do. I say quirky because in the interview before this match,
Yeah.
they asked me about quirky strats. So there's fun things that we can do, but we failed. We failed hard, and it doesn't look as good when you're not winning the rounds together. But my players see the vision and they feel really confident on it right now, and it's still a work in progress, like I said. So we're not sure if this is the comp that we're going to land on, but we need to build confidence. We need to be more decisive, and we need to understand. You know, we got El Diablo on the team, we've got Icy on the team, we've got Warwick on the team, and Superman. So
Well, interesting that you brought up Ye and the rest of the team in the aspect. It was just a good segue into Pearl, and amidst the kind of recalibration, or not really recalibration, but more so the process of figuring out what this team is capable of way further down the line in the season is going double duelist in Pearl and putting Ye on the Yoru. This just kind of like what was the rationale in that aspect? Was it kind of similar to how you kind of look at Haven and other maps that you guys have been working on?
mm, somewhat, yes, for sure. And we're in a very interesting spot as a team. Ye has a lot of talents that we're still trying to unlock as a squad and figure out exactly how to gel perfectly with him while highlighting him, while trying to maintain a consistent role for him. And it's been tricky. It's been very challenging. We tried the chamber route at the start of this year, and it didn't. Chamber's it's an agent that requires the next level of confidence within your team, within the trust, and all of that. And it's just not something we built up in time. So again, for us, we're just figuring out what will be best. For Ye, he's not as comfortable on specific agents as, for instance, Derek. I mean, if I ask him to play
Mhm.
Sova, I just know that he's gonna know every in and out of that Sova agent. He's gonna know every single dart lineup. He's gonna know everything about that agent. Um, and so having that comfortability on that agent is something I'm trying to prioritize for Ye, and I'm trying to get him to or just trying to unlock him essentially.
Amidst that kind of process, where do you think Ye is at right now? On a scale of like 1 to 10, like 10 being the best, one is being like not really good. So
Yeah. Well, I think it's not all on Ye either, right? I
okay.
think this is Valorant is extremely challenging, and the kind of trust that you have to build with your teammates to be able to do the things that El Diablo did in 2022. It takes a lot, right? So it's definitely not all on Ye. It's easy to talk about Ye, but for us as a team, we have to build that foundation for Ye to be able to play his game. And so we're still figuring that out. And as far as where Ye is on, I guess, a scale of, I mean, I think all of us are just figuring out how to be more flexible. With all the meta changes, we're not the best. We're not the innovative leaders of Americas, right? So we're
Yeah.
we're trying to catch up right now.
Well, in that aspect, it's kind of hard to then quantify where a team is currently at, with a number. I think like with how you've been kind of explaining it, um, it's still ongoing, so it's not really right to give like a clear answer because it's not really clear at all regarding where this team is at. And of course, we're literally like a few weeks into stage one, still fresh in the beginning of the season, so definitely a lot of things to cover. um Still though, like as we now finish, or as your team now finishes the third week of this regular season, we're now past the halfway point of the regular season. um and looking at the record, 1-2, the match you guys were able to win was the first one against Two Game. The next two, obviously, losses to Sentinels and Under Thieves. Um, as of right now, where do you feel the team is currently at? Where do you kind of look at the team's current strengths and weaknesses at this point of stage one?
Realistically, I think we're just shy of top 5, maybe top 6, we can do it, right now currently, and then I think we're in the same position as 2023 EG as well. You know, I'm seeing so many of those same similarities, and I know Boostio has said this about his team, Jogimo has said this about his team, so we're seeing a lot of those similarities, but for this team, it's that same scenario is, you know, we didn't have a hot start. Nobody's expecting us to dominate and own in these matches. We're gonna have to work hard for it, and we're gonna have to prove ourselves. And that's always kind of been that perspective that we're working hard from. So yeah, I don't think it's new territory for us. But as far as where I would put us, yeah, I think it's just similar. In 23, I also felt like we were right there in the middle of the pack, and I felt like even though our record was I think we were 1-3 to start that year as well.
Mhm.
You know, I was telling my players back then as well, we woulda, coulda, shoulda won. Look at these rounds. We need to, you know, and there was
Yeah.
the possibilities. And this roster feels the same way. You know, we're in that same boat where we're building on that confidence.
And for sure, at the very least, there's a lot of matches to be played, and there's one that EG will continue to perform in to the best of their abilities. And that's it. I'm gonna have to wrap up the interview right here, Potter. Thank you so much for the conversation, for the answers, for the insight as to what's going on in EG. Really do appreciate that again, and best of luck goes to you for the road ahead.
Thanks, Pedro.